Guys, showtime. Showtime Shred Fitness over here. Size, growth, get big. Alright. So, I hope these posts aren't like dragging you down or making you think I'm some kind of a anti-American, because that ain't ever gonna happen, right? Well, I can't say never, right? If we get really out of pocket, right, become something we're not. My viewpoint might change a little bit, but for purposes of now, all I'm doing is calling out bullshit, okay? If we do something as American citizens, like rioting, for example, bunch of bullshit, right? People think, oh, that's great. Freaking destroy all these freaking buildings and cop cars and freaking bash out these windows. You guys realize that you guys, when you go and you do that to your own communities, you're destroying these small business stuff, you're doing that to your own people, okay? That's stupid, okay? It doesn't make any sense. It's not logical, and I know in emotion, it gets the best of you. It feels like that's the right thing to do, okay? It's not, okay? Now I probably lost most of my liberal followers. Now I'm going to lose all my government followers and military followers and law enforcement followers, right? Because I'm going to call them out. I don't care if it's, sometimes it's alright, right? Because sometimes we go in there thinking, this is the right thing to do, okay? But then we fuck it up, right? Which is fine if we go, okay, now here's where we messed up. Here's how I made a mistake. You don't necessarily have to say sorry to the public. I would like to hear it, and I know everybody else would like to hear it, right? But sometimes politicians, governors, presidents, mayors, whatever, right? Maybe even members of leaders of law enforcement agencies might have a tough time, grabbing their nuts and saying, I'm sorry, right? I don't know why, it just is. But you can say, that was a mistake. We're not doing that again, and here is the strategy we have in place for fixing it the next time around, okay? You're gonna have less pissed off people. You're gonna have pissed off people, especially victims, and that's understandable. And that's just, we have to deal with it, okay? But there comes a time and place to be responsible and say, you know what? We gotta fix this, right? I gotta be responsible for my actions, and I gotta be willing to change. To make this world a better place, I have to freaking take my accountability into it, because a lot of times when you got these beautiful systems in place where it's like a fucking machine, and all you gotta do is practically push the button, you say open fire, and everybody open fires, right? Or it's one sniper and you say fire at will. When you have a clear shot, take the shot, right? I mean, that's a beautiful thing, right? Dude doesn't have to go, are you sure, boss? Are you sure? There's not that kind of time, right? It's now or never. It's right now, okay? But that means you can't have a fucking retard in charge of the fucking orders. Fair enough? Ruby Ridge, perfect example. He's a fucking retard. Now I get it. If he was that, fuck, that was a big deal. I can't believe we fucking accidentally shot an innocent woman, right? It's bad enough you chicken shit enough to fucking shoot the guy when he's fucking running away, right? Because first you shoot him when you got a clear shot, at least he's front on, he can try to shoot back, right? But what does he do? He gets it, and he bails for the house, right? He doesn't want to fight. He wants to be fucking left alone. He's in the middle of fucking woods. He's not doing nothing. He's not hurting nobody. You've already killed his son, okay? He's already pissed off. He's supposed to be left the fuck alone, right? So now when he runs back into his house, what do? Shoot his wife? Because you tried to shoot him in the back and you failed and you shot his wife instead? Fucking ignorant, fucking retard. And it's a mistake that you gotta say, man, because the negotiator got in there, kind of fixed it, because there would have been more fatalities yet, right? They wiped out that whole family, okay? But the negotiator got in there, he got a Green Beret that would talk to that guy, because nobody else, he'd already lost his wife, he'd already lost his son, he wasn't going to be talking to nobody, he didn't want to talk to the negotiator either, even though he was best in the business and he wanted to do the right thing. So get a Green Beret who hated the government, right? And so he was on this guy's side, so they had that trust built up. Dude didn't want to do it, but FBI laid it out, if you don't fucking bring this guy out, we're going to kill him and we're going to kill his whole family, right? They didn't say it that way, they sugarcoated it, but the Green Beret knew it was going down, right? So we talked him into coming up, comes with his hands up, and of course he goes to prison. killed his family, and they took him to prison. That was bullshit. That was a mistake on the government. And instead of saying, that was a mistake, we ain't gonna do that again, right? They go and they made it worse. And instead of the negotiator who fucking saved the day getting a raise for his department, no, the ATF gets a $10 million raise. That's bullshit, okay? So then they go into Waco, Texas, right? Where this guy is, according to a lot of people, whether the government or other official or other religions, or whatever you want to call it, atheists, Christian, Baptist, non-denominational. There were some people that think that the Branch Davidians were fucking off their rockers, right? They're crazy, and they're not a cult, by the way. Let's get that clear right now. The Branch Davidians are an official religion. They are not a cult. Okay, so don't listen to the government when they say that. They either don't know better or they're lying to you. One of the two. They are an official religion. They're just small in numbers. If you're going to say that, it's the same thing as calling Christians at one time a cult, because it was just Jesus and the 12 disciples. They were considered a cult, right? Okay, and so, and who they let go? The bad guy. Okay, we're going to let go. This guy or this guy? Pontius Pilate thought they were going to choose Jesus. They chose the bad guy. So they let the bad guy go, and they crucified Jesus, which was bullshit, but it was God's plan. And we all know it now, but at the time, his cry hit people of faith pretty hard, right? And the other lie, it's like, why are you comparing him to Jesus? Because people were comparing David to Jesus, said he claimed to be the Messiah, and then they went on to say that he believed he was the Son of Christ, and he had everybody believing that they were the Son of Christ. They were cults. They got this thing between the media and the government all heated up and brainwashing the public. Those followers he had, there were only 25 followers, a small group, right? But they were smart people. These were freaking lawyers and police officers and people that studied the Bible. There was a guy there that studied his whole life theology, and he believed that God talked to David. We don't know if he did or not. Was David crazy? Was God really talking to him? I don't talk to God. I don't know. And you can't listen to the government because God sure as hell doesn't talk to them, okay? So, we get the first guy on the scene with his buddies. They get a little lookout house, right? And great guy that was in charge of that fucking thing, right? The head undercover guy that they kept sending in. He couldn't find anything because anytime he tried to branch off and try to snoop around, what the fuck are you doing here? They don't try to say it like that, but what are you doing here, sir? This is not the... Oh, you're looking for the services, upstairs and downstairs, but he was always in the wrong place, so he quit looking around because it could be, if these guys were really dangerous, like the government was plotting out that they were, this dangerous armed cult, right? His life would be in danger, okay? He soon found out that all they did was worship. They just had that for protection because David was paranoid of the government for damn good reason. Anybody who followed that whole Waco case knows damn well why, right? Because they had it in their minds from the beginning, from the get-go, what they wanted to do with that Operation Showtime. I'm embarrassed that my name is attached to this fucking traumatic, ridiculous, just a horrible turn of events, right? So, instead of these guys just leaving it alone, because the guy did that, he found out these guys aren't doing anything wrong. There's a gray area, okay? But you can't have multiple wives, but there's no proof, there's no certificates of marriages, and a lot of the people who come in, these followers, that became wives of David supposedly were wives of other people, and it was all consensual. It was weird, okay? It doesn't make sense to you or me. It made sense to the Branch Davidians. Who's to say if they were wrong or right, okay? It's none of our fucking business, right? A couple of people left. One of them was a snitch. That's what started the whole thing. They made lies of freaking child abuse and everything else. The undercover agent went in there for the ATF and he saw nothing wrong. He saw none of that. He's seen abused kids. He didn't see it. The negotiator said the same thing. He's seen abused kids. He didn't see any of that. Okay? So the whole problem was they could have left it alone, okay? Or if they really wanted to grasp at straws, drag it out through the courts, try to trade David and shit like that, they could have done it. The undercover guy says, look, I can't find any weapons. Well, they're there, so we know they have them. It doesn't matter. He couldn't find them, guys. So he goes, look, if you want to grab him, just do it. He runs past my house every day, unarmed. He's by himself with this kid, okay? You're going to have to take the kid and bring him back to the rest of the people, you know, or you're going to have to give him this, you know, social service, whatever process they're going to do, right? Which you all know that first batch of kids that they were able to you know, talk down and talk David into letting go, right? They were stupid. They announced it on the news. Okay, these now belong to the state. They're all in foster homes. The moms are in prison because they're unfit mothers, they're unfit parents, which wasn't true, okay? Had a weird religion, but the kids were well taken care of, okay? And they don't think that David's going to react the way he reacts. No, I'm sending out more kids, right? You can take them away from us. How do we know they're really safe? You know, some of those foster care parents, they aren't the best places for kids. Fair enough. Some are good, some aren't. And you got a bunch of foster kids and they can be dangerous. Some are violent, some are abused, and some of them will bully and abuse other kids in the foster care system. Right? We all know this, okay? You can't get upset with those Branch Davidians for reacting the way that they did, okay? And then he was passionate about what he did. He let me get a great posing routine together, and then blasted on the news. It's the worst posing routine I've ever seen. He's an amateur. I've never seen this crap before. He has no muscularity. He should never get a bodybuilder. And then they're gonna want me to come out after that? No, I'm gonna fucking stay in until I get a better posing routine together before I come out, right? That was David's thing. He had a bigger message. He wanted to change the world, whether he was gonna, you know, or not. It doesn't matter. He wanted his message out there. He thought he had the right message. He claimed that God talked to him, and he may have, he may not have, okay? But he just wanted his message out there, unjudged, and let the people decide for themselves, and the media ruined it. And they sure as hell shouldn't have done it before there was a surrender, right? Go through that when the court systems happen. And then they frickin' had another term, so they wouldn't do it that way, right? And so then they even blew it to the point where they were tipped off. They knew they were coming. The undercover officer freaking called. They hung up on him, okay? So he ran out and freaking tried to flag him down. They almost ran his happy ass over when they were trying to warn him. And they threw him under the bus, man. They said he was manipulated. He was fucking compromised. He didn't do his job right. There were weapons in there that he found he didn't present. And just they went on and on about it, right? And they threw him under the bus completely, right? Said he never warned anybody about anything. So, phone call, according to the FBI chief, never happened. According to the government, never happened. He didn't try to flag nobody down. Nothing. Okay, he was just a undercover agent turned dirty. This is bullshit. And he did everything. What pisses me off is because as an officer when I was in the prison, I would do things by policy. I'd do by the book, right? So here's a guy, he does everything by the book, by policy. And that's why he didn't go along with the crazy shit. Because, like, no, according to policy, we have to have proof. I have no problem going in there and destroying these guys, doing what you gotta do. Okay? Fair enough. But you told me to come and do something. I'm doing my damnedest to do it. I can't bring it to you. I can't morally, legally, and ethically do this. It's against the law, you know? No, they just said, fuck you, so they threw him under the bus. Okay? And then, with that good negotiator that saved the day, well, it was still a disaster, but he saved what could be left of it, right? At Ruby Ridge. Okay, no more casualties after he came in. That was important, okay? So he has it. Again, he comes on the scene late because they fucked it up. So after they tried to flag him down, they knew we were coming. Dave was just like, fuck this, we got women and children in here. I'm gonna fucking give myself up. So he comes in. Okay, so here's the government side of the story, right? They came out guns ablaze as soon as we came up on them, and they shot us and blah, 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 killed some of our agents, and they shot first. Here's what really happened. That's really fascinating story, guys. That's fascinating how they killed you guys and freaking were unaware that you were coming, right? And but somehow they knew you were coming, okay? And guy comes out unarmed with his hands in the air. If he did have pistols back behind him, okay? Arms in the air, universal term for surrender. He says, "Hold on, there's women and children."